I'm Courtney Marshall. I'm the president and CEO of the Wichita State University Alumni Association, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight. It is so wonderful to be here in person, and I have to say I'm just overjoyed. This is my favorite event of the year, but to be able to do this after being postponed a couple of times and be here in person, it's just wonderful to see everyone. So thank you for being here. We're in this new crazy COVID environment, but this celebration is a true Shocker alumni tradition. We're gathering for the 65th time to celebrate our Wichita State Awards Program honorees. And you'll see some hints of blue. That's for Blue Sapphire for that 65th anniversary celebration, why we're here tonight. So we are putting a little bit of that blue into the program this evening. And we can no longer say 65th annual because of COVID and not being able to do it last year, but this is the 65th time that we have gathered. So this WSU Alumni Association program began back in 1955. Just imagine the list of honorees that this awards program has generated. The stories of success, from our first Achievement Award honoree, a scientist, Lincoln LaPaz, to educators and artists, entrepreneurs, and legislators. As you enjoy your dinner, please note the series of Achievement Award recipients on the big screens. There's multiple around the room for you to view. And these go all the way back to that first recipient, Lincoln LaPaz. This collective story of the hundreds of individual tales of achievement and accomplishment and distinguished service can be read as a history of the growth and reach of Wichita State University. A great university produces great alumni. I'm pleased that you've chosen to join us this evening as we honor each of our 8 newest award recipients sitting up here on these front rows. And thank you for your attendance tonight. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our Wichita State University Interim President, Dr. Rick Muma. Rick, thank you for joining us this evening and being here in tonight's celebration. And I want to thank you on behalf of the WSU Alumni Association and its governing board. I sincerely appreciate you being here and joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. Always look forward to this event, and since we didn't have one last year, it's even that more special. I've been to this event over the years and look forward to hearing all the stories that get told here. And I get why you all have fond memories about WSU. Although I'm not an alum, I've known about WSU for more than 50 years. I grew up in Texas, but my grandfather and my grandmother, they worked here at WSU. As a matter of fact, my grandmother was a secretary in the philosophy department over in Fisk Hall. And many of my aunts and uncles attended Wichita State, and some of them graduated here. And my grandmother used to come to Texas, where I grew up, and told stories about Wichita State and the great sense of community that this university creates. And just remembering about this institution providing educational access, a place that helps industry solve problems, and one that improves the social well-being of the community it serves. So through these personal experiences, it reminds me, in light of everything that's going on around us, COVID and all the other issues that we've faced as an institution, this is still true today. We are a university that creates community, and we continue to do that in what I learned about 50 years ago as a kid in Texas. So I'm pleased that you all are here this evening. I'm looking forward to the presentations tonight. Congratulations to all of the 65th Annual Alumni Award Program recipients. And echoing many people's thoughts, it's so good to see people in person and socialize and have good conversation. Looking forward to the presentations tonight, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Muma, for being here. All right, so let's get this party started. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our Master of Ceremonies for our awards presentation. He is a proud Wichita State graduate and has been an Alumni Association volunteer when he lived in the Chicago area before he moved back home here to Wichita. Jeff Herndon is the news anchor and assistant news director at KSN, and we are so pleased that you're back home and here to serve as MC this evening. Please help me welcome to the stage Jeff Herndon.
I owe this university a lot in my life, not just for the education, but it was a time in my life when I really needed something, and this university provided that to me with some of my professors and educators and the friendships that I built here. So thank you for having me. Now it is time for the 65th time, if you can believe that, in history of the Wichita State Alumni Association to recognize the accomplishments, achievements, and distinguished service of our class of 2019 WSU Alumni Award honorees. 65th time. Our first presentation tonight is the Award of Distinction. Now, this award is not presented every year, but is reserved for those who have contributed to the life and reputation of Wichita State University in the most distinct ways. Tonight, this award is being presented, sadly, posthumously, to 3 Wichita State-educated art world luminaries, known collectively as the Wichita Group. Please turn your attention now to the video screens for more about Bruce Connor, Michael McClure, and David Haselwood.
America's beat movement is strangely soothing and deeply unsettling, exactly as any electric revolution in art, manners, and consciousness should be. Its sources span the globe and the centuries, like elementary particles, the products of its poets, filmmakers, painters, printers, playwrights, and conceptual artists have become smeared out in our wider culture, enfolded in how we see the world. The energy, velocity, and spin of their creations can be seen in the quick cuts and image intensity of music videos, felt in the sharpening focus on environmental concerns, and sensed in the individual's expanding freedom to wing one's own way through life. Quite impressively, Wichita has sent to flight scores of beat artists. A trio of them, the Wichita Group, were among the first to set out, and each of them independently found a creative home in San Francisco. There, they made art history. David Haselwood as a printer and publisher, Michael McClure as a poet and playwright, Bruce Connor as a visual artist and filmmaker. They met at East High and went on to study and play at the University of Wichita in the early 1950s. As students, they were known to push boundaries and test limits. Bruce, for instance, once redecorated an art instructor's office with a tangle of different colored yarn. The art department then decided to call it a prank. And in 1952, the 3 led a group of more bohemian students in a Machiavellian plan to publish a literary magazine. Based on the premise that the campus writers club had funds for such a venture, they plotted to take control and succeeded. The victory was less sweet when they discovered the club was $350 in debt. David entered college at the age of 16 with plans to become a doctor. Although the life sciences were the lifelong interest to him, nothing fired his imagination like literature. In 1953, he graduated with a degree in English and spent a year as a graduate teaching fellow. After a stint in the Army as a journalist stationed in Europe, he settled in San Francisco in 1957. There, he joined the vanguard of artists who cut their art against the grain of mainstream culture. He founded Our Han Press in 1958 and published the works of William S. Burroughs, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Diane Duprima, and Michael McClure. In 1955, Michael was one of the 5 poets to participate in the event that ushered in the Beat Generation. That was the poetry reading at San Francisco's Six Gallery, where Allen Ginsberg read Howl. In the years to come, Michael emerged as one of the most inventive figures in that Beat Generation. He wrote over 20 volumes of poetry and more than 20 plays. He wrote collections of essays, 2 novels, and the lyrics to Janis Joplin's hit Mercedes-Benz. He was a literary mentor to the Doors singer Jim Morrison, and it was Michael who first called Bob Dylan, in an article for Rolling Stone, the poet's poet. After alighting in San Francisco in 1957, Bruce became a major player in just about every 20th century rebel art movement, including the beat, hippie, and punk rock scenes. More widely, he was a key figure in American art and film. His nylon-shrouded assemblages bred international acclaim. His independent films captured instant renown, and his work in so many different idioms, painting, drawing, collage, printmaking, film, still holds the rapt attention of audiences around the world. Michael once described his friend's work as healthy, creepy, dark, sweet, laughing works of art. Indeed, the wingspan of Bruce's body of work is stunning. Tonight, we are extraordinarily proud to honor these shocker artists, this Wichita Group, with the 2019 Award of Distinction.
Accepting on behalf of the Wichita Group is independent art historian and Wichita State graduate Jim Johnson. Jim?
This is a culmination of many years for me and for many other people to see the university and the Alumni Association honor Bruce Conner, Michael McClure, and David Haselwood. The reason they're being given it is they're being called the Wichita Group, and I'd like to explain that briefly. When they ended up in San Francisco in the late 50s, their impact in the artistic community was so great that the street colloquial would just say, that's the Wichita Group. There were more in the group, but these three defined it. In 1974, in a major art historical book, Peter Plagens wrote and called them the Wichita Group. Since then, that's what they've been known as. And I want to thank the university for honoring them individually. Excellent. Larry Hatterberg and the departments here did an excellent presentation on why they're important. And for the Alumni Association to recognize them, even though David Haselwood was the only one who got a degree. They were, you could make the statement that if you were with their crowd at the University of Wichita in 1951, you may not have made it out. It was a different time, and they all marched to a different drummer, bongo drummer, as Bruce Conner would say. But they all, as you can see worldwide, are respected artists and writers. David Haselwood was a publisher, and I think we're all very proud. And thank you for letting me accept this award. And I encourage all of you to look up Bruce Conner's artworks, and especially his movies. Michael McClure's poetry, plays. He was in Easy Rider as an actor. He's on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There are many things you can look up Michael McClure. And David Haselwood in some of the most finely crafted books of poetry you'll ever see. Again, thank you, and I know they're all looking at us tonight. Thank you.
So our next presentation of the evening is the WSU Young Alumni Award. Now this award is presented in recognition of the accomplishments of a Wichita State graduate 40 years old or younger. Our honoree tonight, Alicia Sanchez, has been enthusiastically and quite officially described as a community champion. For more about Alicia, please turn your attention now to the video screens.
Few things bring Alicia Sanchez more satisfaction than seeing the power of advocacy play out in the lives of people she knows and works with, especially Wichita State students. As Diversity and Inclusion Director since 2013 and a newly appointed Assistant Dean of Students, Alicia works to see that the students of color and other underrepresented populations at WSU have everything they need for success. A first-generation student herself, Alicia is a 2007 economics graduate who learned the power of advocacy from her Marketing 300 instructor, Dottie Harpool. Like Dottie, one of Alicia's favorite things on the job is visiting with students who drop by her Office of Diversity and Inclusion to share an academic or personal success story. After a brief time working in the insurance business, Alicia was an admissions counselor at Hutchinson Community College, a job that led to a similar post in 2010 at Wichita State. Her work in WSU admissions centered on multicultural recruitment and programs for low-income and underrepresented students. Today, Alicia and her staff have expanded their reach to other dimensions of diversity. Her office is an academic resource, a support haven, and a one-stop shop for students of all races, religions, sexual orientations, and gender. And her influence stretches well beyond the campus community. Alicia has been active in numerous professional and civic organizations. She has served as a Big in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and as chair of the Wichita Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, she helps strengthen local businesses through the power of advocacy. For her powerful service as community champion and an advocate for students, tonight we recognize Alicia Sanchez with the 2019 Young Alumni Award. Alicia, congratulations.
Please help me congratulate our 2019 Young Alumni Award honoree, Alicia Sanchez.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the Wichita State Alumni Association and Courtney Marshall and her team for honoring me with this award, and of course, my amazing nominators who believed in me so much. It's such an honor to be selected as the recipient of the Young Alumni Award. I honestly don't feel deserving of such an amazing honor. When I think back to my time as a student here at Wichita State, I reflect on driving to campus. I commuted from Hutchinson back and forth 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday to campus, and thinking about my time and the impact. The video mentioned Dottie Harpool and the impact that she had on me. I'm so fortunate that she's still here on campus and that we get to interact and engage and have conversations. And so it's individuals like her that made my experience so much more enriching. And I'm fortunate that I now, as an employee, am able to give back to the students that I serve. When I think about my experience and I think about the students that I serve and think about higher education was not built for students who look like me, for students of color. And now that I'm able to give back and to ensure their experiences are impactful, that they are able to engage with faculty, staff, and community members of color and underrepresented communities, I think that's what's so powerful. I just appreciate Wichita State University for everything that they've given me to allow me to give back to our community. Thank you.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the presentation of the Laura Cross Distinguished Service Award. Now, this was established in 1991 to recognize university professionals who have enriched Wichita State and the wider community with their accomplishments and service. This year's honoree is Bobby Gandu. To the video screens.
Bobby Gandu makes a strong first impression. He's personable, open, and engaging. And more than 20 years ago now, it was the strong impression that Wichita State and its student ambassadors made on him during a recruiting dinner that solidified his choice of WSU as his university. Today, Bobby is Wichita State's Director of Undergraduate Admissions and Assistant Vice President of Strategic Enrollment Management, and the essence of his work is making a strong first impression. First impressions, second impressions, and lifelong impressions. He not only oversees the university's undergrad recruitment plan, but helps connect Shocker students to opportunities for internships and other career jump-starting experiences, Bobby, who holds degrees in business administration, jump-started his own career by working in admissions as a student. After earning his undergrad degree, he served as the WSU Alumni Association's chapters and societies director, and then returned to admissions as assistant director in 2004. He has headed up WSU's Office of Undergraduate Admissions since 2008. In that time, he and his team have posted a number of impressive recruiting successes. In 2016, Wichita State landed its largest freshman class ever, then surpassed that high point each of the next 2 years. This past year, amid the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, Bobby and his staff have had to redefine the campus visit. For a time, personal tours and face-to-face visits were replaced by phone calls and virtual meetings. Gradually, a stream of potential shockers has returned for in-person campus visits, setting out from WSU admissions headquarters in the Marcus Welcome Center to explore future possibilities. Tonight, we salute Bobby Gandu and his admissions team for making Wichita State's first impression on so many people nothing short of indelible. Bobby, congratulations on being named the 2019 Laura Cross Distinguished Service Award honoree.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage our 2019 Distinguished Service Award winner, Bobby Gandu.
Is it fair to say you've arrived when Larry Hatteberg is doing your voiceover at a banquet? My gosh. Well, I prepared a speech, and I'm going to get through it as best I can, but I'm certainly overwhelmed for the moment. I do want to thank the Alumni Association, Courtney, Tate, others who plan this event. I know how difficult it is to plan events in the pandemic, so just want to say thank you for all your efforts to make this night possible. I actually started out in the Alumni Association, as you saw in the video, and I remember this banquet 20-some years ago, and I remember just being wowed and so impressed by all of the legendary people who won awards. So to think in some small way that I'm now part of that conversation is just a real honor for me. So I thank the committee, I thank whoever nominated me to be a part of this, and I'm truly honored to be here tonight. To my wife, Trish, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for hearing my worst ideas and making them better. More importantly, though, Trish, thank you for giving me my most important role that I'll ever have, being a husband and father to our beautiful 3 children who are exhausting and loud and exhausting again. They've given my life more meaning than I ever thought possible. Lastly, to my parents, they're here tonight. They came to the United States from southern India some 45 years ago. They left everything and everyone they knew with very little money in their pockets and arrived in the middle of Kansas. If you like my work ethic and service attitude, thank my dad. I got that all from my dad. I learned things from him. If you value my humanity, I get that from my mother. She raised me to believe in something bigger than myself. This award is for them. That's what we do as higher education professionals. We gift forward. And so it's really my honor to be here tonight and accept this award because it's a treasure. It's a role I value so much that we get to give that gift to future students who are at Wichita State. So thank you.
All right, WSU Recognition Awards are presented for outstanding public service and/or service to the university and its alumni association. They are awarded in 2 categories here: university recognition and alumni recognition. And tonight we're pleased to present the 2019 University Recognition Award to Bobby Berry, who has fused many professional roles into being a force in higher education. Check out the video.
The word fuse means all kinds of different things. As a verb, it means to join, to meld into one. As a noun, a fuse leads to an explosion or ignition of some sort. In electronics, a fuse is a safety device. And at Wichita State, the Fuse, under the direction of Bobby Berry, is a College of Applied Studies outreach initiative that melds the positive aspects of all those meanings into a university-community collaboration for the benefit and progress of everyone involved. When Bobby first stepped on campus as an undergraduate in 2007, his career in higher education was not yet sparked, but step by step, he saw new possibilities opening up to him. After completing a bachelor's degree in exercise science, he went on to earn a master's degree also in exercise science. He was a graduate teaching assistant, work that fused into an adjunct instructor position. Then in 2016, he accepted his first full-time position at WSU as manager of the Human Performance Lab. Today, he is an assistant professor of sport management and the coordinator of applied learning for workforce leadership and applied learning, as well as director of the Fuse. One of his key goals is igniting more and more productive inclusion opportunities for individuals both on and off campus. It's one way, he says, that he can give back to an institution that has given so much to me personally. This spring, he is on track to complete doctoral work in educational leadership. His research interests center on African American men and their experiences in higher education and higher education and the effects of identity on minority populations. His educational experience at Wichita State now has come full circle, from student to faculty member, and now fused as both faculty and student. In all his many roles, Bobby has worked hard to be a positive influence on those around him, to be a fuse in all its best meanings for the power of higher education in people's lives. Tonight, we recognize Bobby Berry with the 2019 University Recognition Award. Bobby, congratulations.
Congratulations, Bobby, our University Recognition Award winner. Please welcome Bobby to the stage.
Once again, thank you guys so much for coming to support us tonight. I'm very humbled and I feel very blessed to be in this position tonight accepting this award. I also want to thank the other honorees tonight. I am in great company with a lot of people that I love and respect very much and get to work side by side with every day in the work that I do. Briefly, the video mentioned that I've been on this campus since 2007 in some capacity. As a student, I remember walking the halls of McKinley, and now being here many years later, receiving this award is very overwhelming for me. So one of the things that I lead with are my core values, specifically that of intentionality and purpose, and everything that I do has to have those things rooted and grounded in it. And with that being said, there is a lot of people in this room that I want to thank tonight, specifically my mother, who is here this evening. This woman has taught me my work ethic, my determination, and my love for people, so thank you for that. My father, who passed when I was 14, taught me specifically how to lead fearlessly, how to be understanding and compassionate, and most importantly, to lead with authority. So thank you for that. I appreciate you all. Once again, thank you, good evening, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Let's move on to the 2019 Alumni Recognition Award recipient. Bill Walsh has been known to say he has pizza sauce running through his veins. Now, what in the red-roofed world does he mean by that? Let's find out in the video.
It was the lure of 50 cents an hour and all the beer he could drink that reeled Bill Walsh, class of 71, into the red roof world of Pizza Hut. He was a freshman at Wichita State, planning to major in English and be a high school teacher, when he took his first Pizza Hut job in 1966. At the time, Bill's dad Shirley shook his head at his son's decision to go to work as a 50 cents an hour pizza maker. After all, the college freshman already had an afternoon welding job, and that paid $4.50 an hour. But the risky move paid off big. In 1967, Bill became manager at the Kellogg and Rock Road Pizza Hut, one of the higher volume Pizza Hut restaurants at the time. He was manager there until 1969 when he moved up to the position of assistant area manager, all while attending Wichita State. Bill was so taken with the restaurant business and with Dan and Frank Carney's way of doing Pizza Hut business that he changed his college major to business. After graduating in 1971, he moved to West Virginia, where he was a Pizza Hut area manager. He then moved back to Wichita in 1972 to become director of training for corporate Pizza Hut. His rise up the company ladder continued. He served as director of operations for 600 corporate-owned restaurants in the eastern half of the United States, and in 1977, when PepsiCo bought Pizza Hut Inc. for $300 million, he was vice president of franchising. A year later, he bought into Dalen Corporation, the Wichita-based restaurant management company that today oversees and supports 107 Pizza Hut restaurants in 12 states. Bill is president and CEO. Having experienced a good deal of Pizza Hut's history firsthand, Bill was instrumental in relocating the original Pizza Hut building to Wichita State's Innovation Campus. In 2018, that little red brick building that housed the first 25-seat pizzeria at Kellogg and Bluff reopened as the Pizza Hut Museum, preserving and sharing Pizza Hut's storied history of success. It is a uniquely shocker story. Tonight, we are shocker proud to present Bill Walsh with the 2019 Alumni Recognition Award.
All right, so as we welcome Bill to the stage as our Alumni Recognition Award winner, I have a message to pass on to you, Bill, from Joe Lynett. You know who that is, obviously. For those of you who don't know, he's the executive director of International Pizza Hut Franchise Holders Association. Now, here's his message, and I'm going to read it to you here in quotes. Quote, "I cannot think of a better individual than Bill Walsh to receive this prestigious award. Bill is a lifelong advocate of the Pizza Hut brand. He has more than 50 plus years working for Pizza Hut as an employee or as an owner of Pizza Hut restaurants. His commitment and dedication to the Franchise Association is unparalleled. Bill is truly a legend of the brand and most deserving of this high honor. And Bill, we concur."
You know, it feels a little odd here because what I want to do is recognize the 3 tables of people that took their time to come here tonight and spend the evening with us. If I look at this table where I was seated earlier, 2 of the first 6 people to work the first week at the Pizza Hut in 1958 are sitting at the table. Obviously, Dan Carney, the founder of Pizza Hut, and my partner, Dale Wiggins, who I think he got 50 cents an hour in 1958, so Dan didn't pay any better in 1966. So I want to thank Dan and Gayla and Dan and Gayla, Dale and Alice. I also want to thank John and Dana Mastio, who were, I think, kind enough to suggest that maybe there should be an award for making the Pizza Hut Museum on the campus, not just a building. And of course, I've got to thank my wife, Kate, who puts up with all my shenanigans and all the hours it takes to run a business today. Last thing I think I would say was, I was not the best student at Wichita State because I was running a Pizza Hut. And it did have some conflicts of time and effort. But I did enjoy my time at Wichita State, and I appreciate this award, and so thank you very much.
Now it's time for the presentation of the WSU Alumni Achievement Award. Established in 1955, the Achievement Award is the highest honor given to alumni by the Alumni Association. And tonight, our honoree is a much decorated figure in law enforcement and police education and training. Ed Pavey, a Wichita State criminal justice graduate, He has had an influence on tactical policing, not just in Kansas, but as far away as Russia. He also has the most impressive collection of, we'll have to watch the video to find out.
You could call Ed Pavey's career in law enforcement a long train running. He was just 17 and still in high school when he made his first professional whistle stop. It was at the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Vern Miller hired him as a dispatcher 5 nights a week, so long as Ed kept his grades up. He did. He graduated from Wichita Heights and continued down the career track he was on. By the age of 20, he was a deputy, and by 1976, he had taken on the duties of supervisor. He served as an officer and command staff officer for 21 years under 3 Sedgwick County sheriffs, Vern Miller, Johnny Darr, and Mike Hill, who is, as Ed is, a graduate of Wichita State's criminal justice program. Ed retired from the sheriff's office with the rank of captain, division commander. His next stop was at the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center. Established by the Kansas legislature in 1968, the center is near Yoder at a site used as a World War II naval air base. More than 400 Kansas law enforcement agencies send officers to the center where they receive instruction on law, communications, firearms, and tactical policing. Recruited by Larry Welch, the center's director and former FBI agent in Wichita, Ed got on board as assistant director in 1989. In 1993, he traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia, to observe and consult with police there, an experience he considers a career highlight. He also made a 2009 trip to Armenia to consult with Armenia's national police. In 1994, Ed became the 3rd director and the longest serving in the training center's 50-year history. During his 23-year tenure as director, the center was expanded from its original 2 buildings to a 15-structure facility with 2 residence halls. It's estimated that 10,000 Kansas police officers trained for duty at the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center, while Ed conducted the operations there. After 49 years of service and leadership, Ed retired in 2018. The quality and reach of his influence on policing in Kansas have been widely saluted. Among his honors are awards from the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and the FBI National Academy Associates. In 2020, a request was made to the Kansas Board of Regents to name the training center's East Dormitory Pavey Hall. It was unanimously approved. Today, Ed is still aboard the law enforcement train. He's on board of the Wichita Metro Crime Commission, to name one of his involvements, but it's another of his pursuits that flags our attention: Railroadiana. Ed is a board member of the Great Plains Transportation Museum, and he has a signal collection of AT and SF artifacts. That's the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway. Well, tonight, we honor Ed Pavey's long-running commitment to the public and to those who have pledged to serve and protect. Congratulations, Ed. You are the 2019 Alumni Achievement Award honoree.
My honor to welcome to the stage the legendary Ed Pavey.
As you get older, you have to have Walmart readers, so excuse me for just a second. So, what an honor to be here tonight. It's humbling, and I appreciate the Alumni Association's honoring me with this award, and I appreciate Courtney and her staff. I know with the COVID that's been going on this last year, this was planned for April the 23rd last year, which was my 44th wedding anniversary, so I was going to try to get both dinner and anniversary at the same time. But tomorrow night will be my 45th wedding anniversary to my bride Dana, who joins me tonight, and my 3 daughters and my 3 son-in-laws. I call them my daughter-in-laws, but they are my son-in-laws. So I want to thank my family for their support over my 49-year career. I have fond memories of my classes out here at Wichita State. I appreciate what our Alumni Association does to keep us in contact with the university after we've left many, many years ago. So my hat's off again to Courtney and the staff and everybody on the Alumni Association. One story that I just want to share with you, how much I love the university and WSUAA and the Shockers. And the wife and I have baseball season tickets and basketball season tickets and women's volleyball season tickets. But when you work at the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center, that is a part of the University of Kansas. The University of Kansas has been involved in police training in the state since 1944, and when the legislature created KLETC back in 1968, they looked to see who to put it under, whether to put it under the Highway Patrol, the KBI, and they decided right then to put it under the University of Kansas, which was a really good move. It kept it out of the politics. When I received the appointment as director in 1994, I was summoned to the university to meet with the provost, David Schulenberger, up on the Lawrence campus, and I was sitting in the meeting with him. He apprised me that they had met with a search committee and were going to follow the search committee's recommendation, and I would receive the appointment to be the director of police training for the state of Kansas, as well as the director of the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center, contingent upon one thing. And that one thing, and he kind of said it jokingly, he said there won't be any woo shocks on those office walls down there. And so for the next 24 and a half years that I served as the director at KLETC, woo shock was on my private bathroom wall, not my office wall. So I'm appreciative again of receiving this award. I'm very humbled, and I want to say go Shockers. Thank you.
This has just been so much fun. I mentioned earlier this is my favorite evening of the year. And I just want to, before we end, one more time, recognize and commend the achievements of our award recipients. David Haselwood, Michael McClure, Bruce Connor, Alicia Sanchez, Bobby Gandu, Bobby Berry, Bill Walsh, and Ed Pavey. Let's give them one more round of applause.